Did he?
Yep. Loves it, I guess. Says he does.
All right, we're live.
Welcome to the Catfish Weekly Web Show with Niall, Chris, and Chuck as your hosts. Catfishing is so much more flavor that you're looking for. It's Catfish Weekly, yeah, Catfish Weekly.
Catfish Weekly is brought to you by Whisker Wear Apparel. Get your catfish on www.whiskerwearapparel.com. Now, here are your hosts, Lyle Stokes, Chris Wallace, and Chuck Davidson.
All righty. Welcome, everybody. Catfish Weekly 55, I believe, is our episode now. Tonight we're talking about a few things, but the main topic, I guess, it's gonna be mental games. I guess, do you play them jokingly, serious, all that kind of stuff. Plus, we got some other rants and raves that we're gonna talk about, other kind of stuff that just needs discussing. Um, but basically, the mental games. Chuck, do you partake in any mental games with friends, or even your tough competition out there on the bodies of water during tournaments, anything like that? Pre mental games, anything at all?
I usually am. She always kids around with everybody saying this girl is gonna kick y'all's butt today and everything, and I think that's about all I need there because they always say yeah, probably so, and if we end up winning, that's just something that she messes with her heads about. So no, but I've read a lot of stories and articles, especially how Kevin Van Dam and these guys, you know, go up to each other before tournaments and say little mental phrases that may just be enough to have the guys not concentrate their fullest and not be on their game, but I could see it really work in their favor if they did it. I hadn't been fishing enough tournaments or big enough tournaments to really have to try anything like that yet. But when we're out, play fishing as friends, or we have little mock tournaments where 3 or 4 boats will go out, and we'll um, you know, just have little tournaments. Yeah, we mess with each other, but um, I haven't got into it too much.
So you're not real big into it, just a little bit on the play side with one or two people, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's usually not the people that you're really competing against the most that you hope you beat the most. It's usually with your closest friends that you're fishing with, the ones that I can mess with the most.
Okay. Do
But
you,
all these big bass anglers, they go up. If somebody's back, this one article I read, I think Van Dam was, back in sixth or seventh place, and he went up to the guy that was in first after one day of fishing, and he told him, he said, "Don't you slip up today. It's just going to take one little slip, and I'm going to be right by you." And you know, it really seemed to have helped Van Dam, I believe, because that guy was worried all day. He knew Van Dam was right on his heels, even though he wasn't in second or third place. He was close enough to where um, he was going to be on him. So I could see it working though.
yeah, Ron Streeter in chat said, if somebody calls and asks him how he's doing, if he's got a limit or whatever, he said it don't matter who calls, he's always got a limit. Probably always got a real decent one in the boat too, if not more than one. But let me ask you this, Chuck. Now, I know you say you don't partake in it much or whatever. Do you think that by doing it, and that there is a correct way of doing it that really can help you in a tournament situation?
Um, yeah, I think there is. I've seen guys, um, talk about like the direction they're heading from the boat launch, and stuff like that. And one guy be, this will be why they're launching, and this one bass guy, he started going up river one way, and the one guy yelled at him and said, "It looks like you're making your first mistake of the day." And then, and they said he went on out about 300 yards, and he turned and went on up, because then I guess that got him thinking, and then, the way he was going to go is where most of the fish were caught that day. So,
And that's part of it, even as little as saying I'm going to go upriver, and you're going downriver. That's a mental game.
yeah, I mean, right there, you've got just two decisions, you're going to make, if you've pre-fished or not. Do I go upriver or downriver? And that right there is, playing with your head already, because whichever way you turn, that's already taking time off the clock. Um, and then by somebody messing with you and saying you're making the wrong decision right off the bat, that just makes it harder on you right there. Just mental
It's,
games.
especially if you're already, there's people who come into a tournament and they're not very sure exactly. They don't have a game plan set out, and they don't, or they don't even have the I guess the willpower or the determination or whatever you'd want to call it, to where I guess the learning lessons of life, that you go into a tournament with a game plan and you stick to it pretty much. You should have a couple plans, and no matter what, you should be able to go to one of those plans. And if they don't have that, they're the kind of people that, by doing little things like that, might really be swayed into making bad decisions, or you know into really messing with their head in the mental game.
That's right.
But I see we got quite a few people online. Right now, while we're talking about the mental games, you know, post up if you do something, or somebody that does something or whatever. Post it up. Let's hear about what you think might work for you, or doesn't work for you. Ron says he always has one over 30 inches. Or he says he always has one over 30, and then he says they don't have to know pounds. He says over inches, they don't have to know pounds. Um, let's see. Yeah, Tim says, Doc says he's going to put banana minions in his friends' boats this year. But Lyle, what say you on the scenario? Do you do any mental games? Do you partake in any of that for tournaments or with your friends, or?
Well, if you guys have ever been around this group that I fish with at St. Louis, you would have to understand that is part of the deal. If you get Jason Mathena and Jason Jackson and Ryan Casey and these guys, my God, they'll wear you out. Russ DeVore comes up and fishes with us, and once in a while we'll get Jeff Dodd and some of them guys, and I mean, they are on somebody about something all the time, and it's just a fun thing, and nobody means anything bad about it, but yeah, we we kind of do, and it's nothing serious, and everybody knows it's a lot of fun, and I've been known to put a St. Louis Cardinal license plate on a guy's truck from Indiana, but whether it sank his boat or not, I don't know, but he did sink a boat that weekend. But we have a really good time. There's just an outstanding group of people that come and fish down there with us, and we go all over the place messing with people, and then a lot of times they're messing with me worse than I am them, and that's all cool because we're all having a good time doing it. So yeah, we do a lot of it. But when push comes to shove, there's several people that I know will tell me the straight stuff, especially on bait things and stuff like that. depths they're finding fish at or something like that when we sit down and be serious. And I won't tell them a lie, and then I believe that they will tell me the same thing. And sometimes it's very helpful if they're catching fish at 10 or 15 feet, and I've been catching mine at 30 or 40. If tournament day my fish aren't there or theirs aren't there, you could try what the other guy says he's had working for him and go from there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, just one small mistake, that or in doing something you wouldn't typically do. If somebody could convince you to do that and stray away from what you would do naturally, that could make or break your day.
Absolutely.
Especially first thing in the morning when you've got that morning bite, which is usually when people try to go ahead and get their limit in the boat. If somebody could sway you away from what you know and where you're going to go to get that limit, or persuade your way of thinking on what depth to try or anything like that, it could turn out very positive for them. So
especially if they think you got a shot at placing.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, I guess I'll pose the question to you, Lyle. Do you think that I guess the guys that do it, I guess even jokingly or even as more of a real, I guess a mind bender, really mind messer with her, I guess, to get people off their games? Do you think it actually works and helps them basically out and out, you know what I'm saying, outwit or?
Well, I'm sure that there is people that does affect. It doesn't me, because when I go into a tournament, I have my plan that I'm going to do. We've talked about it, and my mind's made up when I get there. And that's the way it's going to be. In the rain, sleet, or snow, we're going to go to that spot. We're going to fish that area, and if we're wrong, we'll make adjustments from that point on. I don't care what they tell me at launch or before at the pre-meeting or anything like that. Like I say, there is a few guys that I will listen to about different things, especially when it comes to bait or depth they're catching fish or water temperatures and things like that. But or what kind of bait they're biting on. There's some people that I know will tell me the truth, or I feel like they will every time, and there's others that I can't believe a word comes out of their mouth, and that just kind of blows off. It's a fun thing, but when I hit that water the day of the tournament, I've have my mind made up, and they're not going to say anything that's going to make me veer from that until at least I give everything a running shot, and then if I've made a mistake, we'll make adjustments and go from there.
John Nordyke in chat says he likes to walk up to boats getting ready to launch and ask them, your transducer always hang like that? Yeah. And then I think he said he'll look at their rigs or whatever on their poles and say, aren't you supposed to snell a circle hook from the opposite direction?
John's a hoot, isn't he?
Yeah. Let's see. That's you're gonna have to figure guys out. There's gonna be guys that you don't know whether or not they're telling you the truth or feeding you a bunch of crap. My opinion is, and we've talked about this plenty of times, and the having a plan and sticking to it, it is so important. Having a couple plans, like I said, having a couple plans, your main plan, having a backup plan, being mentally prepared for a tournament is more than what you might ever think, just because of if you're not mentally focused in there and prepared with a plan, like we're talking about here, guys saying the random things that are going to trigger in your head, making you think that, okay, well, I'm not set in stone, so maybe I should do this or maybe I should do that. And that's exactly what they wanted you to do, is to sit there and question yourself. You're going to be looking around for a place to fish or just thinking about which way to go or whatever it is, to where you're not confident in what you're doing. I'll say this, that I like to play around. I like to post pictures up before a tournament or whatever with some of my inside group of guys, and I'll tell them, oh, we're on them, or whatever, and we're tearing them up, or like Streeter says, if they call, it depends on the people really. For me, I mean, some people I'm gonna be like, oh man, I ain't doing nothing, I ain't got a fish in the boat yet, or others I'll be like, oh, I got one over 30, and we're throwing 20s back, and I mean, it's very, and as far as the what direction I'm going and stuff, I might tell you I'm going one way and really be going the other. Um, I'm very, I guess if I don't know you real well and it's not, and I'm not, uh, I'll probably tell you close to the truth, or not everything. Nobody's gonna give you everything of what they're doing. I mean, why should they?
Right.
But I'm not gonna straight out give you bad information either. I'm not gonna send you in a wild goose chase or anything like that if I don't know you. If I know you, you should probably know better than to trust what I'm telling you.
Well, Chris, here's something too. I know most all of us, and I feel like everybody has a cell phone these days. And a lot of times we'll get a lot of phone calls from people shooting the breeze and how you doing? You got any fish? We got this, we got that. I will say this: if I don't answer your call and I don't return it in a reasonable amount of time, be very afraid when we get to that weigh-in.
Yeah, that's the when you're sitting out on the boat and you have good fish in your live well, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Ron says he tells them to follow me. I've been on
Hey, that's a pretty neat trick right there.
them. Tell them to follow somebody that's not that's not on them. Ron is probably poking at me, but he could probably tell somebody to follow me, and they ain't gonna do all that great. But I'm there. I'm not way down at the bottom of the list most of the time. I'm learning every every year, and so he might want to watch out by doing that coming up. From years to as years go on, because they might be following me to where the fish are, and you know he'll be sitting back there wondering where they're at one of these years.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it can happen, and I want to tell you something. With the class of fishermen that we have at these not only local tournaments, but these bigger events like we go to down in Owensboro and New Madrid and wherever else anybody would go to these big events, there is a class of people here that any one of the people entered in that tournament could win it on any given day.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Jason says never trust Fudd, tournament or not. And Vince said you can't trust Fudd. He's probably talking in his sleep. I could be talking in my sleep. You never know.
I haven't heard about you talking in your sleep, but I have been mentioned to about your snoring.
Oh, I'll talk in my sleep. I snore. I stop breathing for long periods of time and come back to life. But
Is that a something that just happens, or somebody stuffing a stock in your mouth to keep you from snoring?
that hadn't happened yet. But I've been threatened when I woke up. But I will tell you that this Wednesday I'm going for my sleep study. I'm probably going to have a friggin' CPAP machine, so
Sweet.
I guess I'll be healthier and not snore as much, or you won't hear me because I'll have a Darth Vader mask on my face while I'm sleeping.
Man.
Josh asked how we did on tournament Saturday, third place, Team Robbins, and I think it's Petrowski. Team Robbins got first place, Petrowski got second, we got third. Robbins actually went to the exact spot that we were going to, and they beat us there by maybe two or 3 minutes. Their boat just did just a little bit faster than ours, and we went about 25 miles from the boat ramp. And as we were pulling around the corner, we seen them pulling up on the spot, and I was like, man, there was only 2 boats ahead of us at that point, and I thought, well, we got a pretty good shot. They aren't going to our spot, but sure enough, and then come to find out, he said they caught every single fish in that one spot. They sat there all day long and just tore them up.
Cool.
And but yeah, Robbins, they're very, he talking to him afterwards, he was an awesome guy. I really liked talking to him, and he seemed very genuine and loved catfishing and just a good guy all around. Um, we did start on some new regulations and things for the Indiana Catfish Association with following the Kentucky regulations of the 35-inch rule. So we did that, and that actually came into play out there. So it's good to see that that's a good stretch river. It's always been a good stretch river. Um, and I've talked about it before, and I'll tell you right now, keeping on the topic of um, the mind games and stuff. I played a little bit of mind games with a couple of the guys that were in tournaments. They're in my close clique that knew me and everything. All of a sudden, he busted me on one because I had leaves in the background. He was like, "Man, those leaves sure do come in pretty fast down there." And I was like, "Oh, you friggin' nailed me on it." But yeah, I mean, I honestly have always struggled, and I've said that on the show before. Wintertime catfishing, I'm starting to pick up some things on it. So I was kind of proud of getting third place, and especially catching fish. We caught 11 fish, so we were catching fish. I know what some of my mistakes were. I kind of went into it with my mind set on one specific thing to do, and I did that, and I think that might have cost me catching bigger fish. Um, also changing a rig up. I want to start using some different rigs and get familiar with them so that way they're always in my arsenal. So I think I'm going to be switching to them and using them for a certain amount of time this year, so that way that they're there. I always will feel comfortable if I want to use them at any point. Yeah, some of the big fish that were weighed in. There was actually a 55 and a 53 that were both weighed in from the first and second place team. Both of those basically beat our total weight. But then they also each had a 38 and a 32 or a 36 or something. So it was 131 pounds for first place, 21 or 122 for second, and then we were in third with like 35.7. And then fourth place was just like 5 pounds, and then there was 5 boats that didn't weigh in fish. I talked about a little bit about the new rule with the ICA doing and I'll go ahead and mention it now since there are some people that might be interested in fishing it. So it's a rule that I got voted in this year. Instead of the $25 membership fee that is normally charged to fish any points series tournament in the ICA, you can now pay $10 and become a one-day trial member, and your points will not be kept. And if you were to get into the money, 10% of your winnings would stay into the club, an extra 10% of the winnings. So it can get you into, like, say you and a partner are not members and you're just going to fish one or two tournaments that are close by. Instead of having to spend $50, extra to get into a tournament, you can just spend $20 and both of you guys can become a one-day trial membership and get into it and fish it. And if you don't do so well, so be it. If you do, you only get an extra 10%. So you win $600, say you'll get $60 of that taken out of it. So, and that just we're wanting to try to get more people into the club and fishing the tournaments and things, and I thought that was a good idea, and there was a couple people there that seemed pretty interested in doing something like that. So I'm glad that I got the feedback I did there. But yeah, I know that we're going to go off on we're hitting about the halfway mark. I'm going to go ahead and do the angler spotlight. People have been posting on Catfish Weekly's Facebook page. So here is 5 names of people that we're going to thank again for posting on our page. John Hutchinson, Brown Catfishing, he constantly posts on our page, and I really, I thank you very much, because he posts not only one same thing all the time or anything. He posts new content on there a lot. So thank you very much, Brown Catfishing, for posting on our page as much as you do. Josh Thompson, Donald Smith, and Frank Stanley. So thanks to all of you guys for posting on the Catfish Weekly page. We really do appreciate it. I will go ahead and I know Lyle's got some things he wants to talk about. You guys got anything else on mental games?
Well, the thing is, you do catfishing, whether it be everyday fishing or fun fishing or tournament fishing. You're there to have a good time. So if somebody's, if Jason Jackson comes up to me and starts in on me before a tournament, I'm back on him. Or Jason Mathena or any of them guys. I mean, it's a fun thing to do. It makes it more interesting. You never know. They might want to make a little wager on it. There's no telling the places that I fish what's going to happen. We enjoy each other's company. We have a great time. And that's what catfishing's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people it would bother the most is, if it's like a 2-day tournament, and the people that's already up, where they're in a better chance of getting in the money. The people that are able to mess with the guys that are already up would be the funnest part to me. Trying to play a mental game on them to make them make one little mistake so you'll have a chance catching them. And that seems like the ones that you could get to easier. Day one or a 1-day tournament wouldn't be that bad, but, somebody that's, looks like they're in the money already, but they still got that 1 day to go, that would be, say a couple of things to them to, make them lose that grip.
John said, "Are we sure? Are we really sure catfishermen have that much mental to work with in the first place?"
That's my buddy John. I remember this guy's cracking these jokes as a guy that put a 105-pounder in a boat not very long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron says if he wants to learn about any of my secrets, he'll be talking about not at the Indie Boat Sport and Travel Show. I don't think so, because I'm going to be there most of the time, Ron. And plus, I don't know if I even have any secrets. I got a few. I got a few secrets. I keep a few of them in there. But one other thing I'm going to talk about before we get going too is Greg Aaron posted, or he paid for this advertisement on the Catfish Weekly page. You might have noticed it. I made the graphic for it. It's real standout. It says, "Help the Bay Catfish Advocate. Save the blue and flathead catfish. Click here." That's going to take you to the page where you can sign up and fill out what you need to, be telling them about them trying to basically exterminate the flathead and the blues in that river, being an invasive species, all that stuff. So we really need everybody to click on that link, go there, fill out that survey or whatever it is that you need to do, and basically help support that. And going beyond one step further, I heard about, and I'm not sure if this is that area or not, but I want to say it is, that they're going to have a tournament or something. Have you guys, either of you, heard about this? The tournament they're having where, at the place where they're trying to exterminate these fish, and they're talking about trying to have a tournament, I guess, where you could bring them in by car, truck, or wherever you want, and trying to get like a state record on a large trophy fish or something. I mean, they're really trying to exterminate the trophy fish, and they're talking about having a tournament or something with just about any means necessary, but no chumming, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that, and I hate to hear it.
I mean, if we get some more information about this, I would like to see somebody host some sort of, I guess, I mean, I'm blanking on the word, but a protest. Show up, protest it. I would think that if I was close, I'd be there protesting that hard. I'd get as many people as I could there to protest it.
Absolutely.
During the event.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wished I wasn't so far away. I think that area and that community, the Potomac River Monster Cat guys and everybody out there, Vince, he does a wonderful effort to try to make people aware of this, as well as Joe and Aaron and all them guys and Greg. Ray Stitcher's another one. He's on this. you guys got to stay after it. I mean, there's only a certain amount of you out there that care enough about that to do this, and the rest of us, thank you for what you're doing. And you people that haven't clicked on that or went to this advocate's website and filled out this paperwork, people, it just takes a few minutes of your time, and it is the most worthwhile thing at this particular time that you can do for the sport of catfishing. Please click on that thing that Chris put up there. Go there, fill out the stuff. It doesn't matter if you're from the state of Maryland or West Virginia or not. If you think that there's ever a chance that you would like to go out and fish some of the best fishing there is in the United States, let them know that you want to go out there and you do not want those fish gotten rid of. You know, there's only a few places in the world that's got fish like that. We don't need to lose any of them.
Yeah, Joe Sandbauer says a 3-fish tourney held by Maryland DNR. All fish under 30 pounds are going to be eaten, and 30 and over are going to be killed for research. He said he will be there.
That's crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and they're talking. They said chum is an invasive. John said chum is an invasive species.
We need to get John on the show one of these days.
Yeah.
He's a hoot.
Well, so Lyle, I know you have a few things that you want to get off your chest.
I've been saving up. I've been kind of going back all day on some of this stuff, and I know some of you guys probably kind of tired of hearing some of this stuff, but I got to go through it anyhow. We got a message from a gentleman, Jesse Bookings, here a while back about the statements that we had made on hand fishing or noodling or however you want to say it, and from what I was told and we've read, that I feel like the majority of this was directed to me, and anything that I have said about hand fishing or noodling or any objections that I have made against it is made due to research done by the Missouri Conservation Department. When I tell you that them fish does not go back to that nest and that fry will never produce, it's because it's a proven fact. If I tell you that you take a female off of there and it goes back and then it leaves, that's because that's what they have discovered has happened. You guys can say whatever you want to. Hand fishing is one of the most detrimental things to the sport of catfishing, with the exception of annihilation like they have in Maryland and on the Potomac River, or commercial fishing. It is devastating the population. I'm sorry if you don't like it. That's the way it is. The research and the stuff is on the Missouri Department of Conservation website. They tried it for 3 years, throwed it out, unbelievable results of how many small fish was lost, how many big fish didn't go back to the nest, and it was a dramatic downfall in flathead catfishing over a period of 3 years. So it's public knowledge, it's public record. You guys can say what you want. It's devastating to catfishing. Now, enough of that. I got up this morning and I got online and read an article that was put online. It come from the Columbia Tribune, one of the premier newspapers in the state of Missouri. And I'm going to go through this with you, and I'm going to stop on a couple of things and go through some stuff. But the Missouri legislators recently filed 9 bills that, if passed, would affect the Missouri Department of Conservation funding and operation and overall state economy. Now, that's the first paragraph, and they're telling you that if some of these bills pass, that it's going to affect the overall state economy. The overall state economy. So why are we talking about this? Well, since initiated, filing Representative Craig Redmond withdrew his bill, the HJR 8, which proposed the repeal of the 1/8 cent conservation sales tax that was voted in 1976. Now, we're talking about 1/8 of 1%. 1/8 of 1%. That's very, very little bit of money. The other 8 bills filed by Representative Brian Spencer, the HJR 27 and 28, would reduce the conservation sales tax from 1/8 to 1/16 and place a 10-year sunset on the tax. Now, 1/8 to 1/16. 1/8 is nothing to start with. You reduce it to 1/16. What are these people going to have to work with? I mean, think of it. Dude, what do you get? Do you put your shoes on when you get up in the morning? How did you get this position? This is crazy. Now, Before we go any further, I sent emails and phone calls to every one of these people that we're talking about tonight. I got no response from any one of them. I invited them to the show. I invited them to get in the chat. I invited them to be a part of what I was going to be talking about, and I told them what I was going to be talking about. The next gentleman, Senator Brian Munslinger, he filed a couple of bills that would eliminate hunting and fishing, trapping permit fees, modified Conservation Commission and stuff that has to do with captive deer and different things. Now, I will tell you that I called his office because his email didn't work. And he has a lady by the name of Candace that answered the phone and is the most knowledgeable, most professional person that I had been on the phone with any kind of public servant type thing in my life. This lady had the correct answers for everything I asked her. She knew what I was talking about. She was very spot on and kind of changed my ways about several things that I was asking about, such as why would we want to eliminate the hunting and fishing and trapping permits? I mean, the Conservation Department needs this money so they can continue to help us get what we need. They want to modify the terms of the Conservation Commission. Now, in Missouri, we have, I believe it's 4 commissioners that make the majority of the decisions of what the Conservation Department can and can't do. And I proposed to them what I think would be a better situation, and they told me what they thought would be a better situation. But I would like to see them divide the state up into 8 sections and have 1 representative from each section instead of having 4 all in one area or on one side of the state or in the southern part, whatever. But whether that gets done or not, we'll see. I do think that they need to leave the fees in. I never minded buying hunting and fishing permits. I buy hunting and fishing permits whether I hunt or fish or not. I buy duck and goose stamps whether I duck and goose stamp hunt or not. It's for a good cause. It goes to the betterment of our sports. I see no reason to take that away. The MDC does a lot of things, not only for cat fishermen. They do things for bass guys. They do things for crappie guys. They do things for deer hunters. Most important of all, they have some of the most wonderful programs for our kids that there is. They have the greatest places that you can take these kids and let them bow shoot and shoot trap and shoot rifles, and they give them lessons and have courses for hunter safety and anything that you can imagine. Why would we want to take this away from them kids? This is some of the greatest programs in the world. Why? There's no reason to take funding away from them guys. Well, after I talked to this lady and her and I discussed that, Brian was in a meeting, and you talk to senators and you don't think you'll hear from them. Within 15 minutes, I got a phone call, and it was Senator Brian Munslinger. I was extremely impressed with that, and we visited on the phone for probably 30 minutes. Very intelligent man. I enjoyed our visit very much. I do agree with some of the things that he's trying to get put forward. The things I didn't agree with, I told him about, and we visited about that. He's very receptive and open to discussing things with people. He would like to see some of the things that the MDC does brought out more in the open for not only legislators but the general population to see. And some of that I might go along with. My feelings is if something's not broke, it's hard for me to want to fix it. Missouri Department of Conservation is by far one of the #1 conservation departments there is. A lot of other states look up to them and have questions and do things the way it should be done. They don't make any sudden decisions. They take years and do studies, but when they make a decision, it's the correct one. So I will leave it at that. I was so impressed with him calling me, and I invited him to go on a fishing trip with me. I hope that he has the time sometime this summer to go. I so enjoyed visiting with him. He's one of the outstanding guys in government today as far as I'm concerned. Now, this brings us to Representative Wanda Brown. I've run into Miss Brown at the conservation meetings in Jeff City and a couple of places. She has proposed 3 bills, and I'm going to tell you what they are, and you guys make your decision. One of the bills would be to test all roadkills for chronic wasting disease. Now, this is taken right out of the newspaper, fellas. All roadkill. So we're talking about mice. We're talking about rabbits, squirrels, human beings that get hit by car. Anything that you see smashed on the side of the road, she wants to have it tested for chronic wasting disease. Number one, there isn't an agency in the United States that can afford that. That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard. Number two, there's no reason for it because all areas don't have chronic wasting disease. So just to do a sample of a deer, which is the only animal that gets them, every once in a while would be plenty. The next thing she talks about is she wants the MDC commissioners to register as lobbyists with the state. Now, these are the people that makes the decisions on what laws and rules we have changed. Why in the world would you want them to register as a lobbyist and go to the state and have to fight that bureaucratic crap? That, again, ludicrous, just absolutely mind-blowing that she could come up with something like that. The last thing that she does, and you're going to love this one, folks, she would require that the MDC, the Missouri Department of Conservation, would reimburse automobile owners for damages inflicted by collisions with deer. Now think about that for just a minute, how anybody could come up with something like that. So every time that somebody hits a deer with their car, the Missouri Department of Conservation is supposed to pay for that car? I just can't believe this. Now, folks, the scary part is what she says and what she's proposing. But what scares me more than that is the people that's actually voting this lady in office. This is just nuts.
Well, I got the explanation. I know exactly why she wants that voted in.
Okay?
It's because your road crew department puts those road crossing deer signs on highways and other public areas instead of back roads where they could safely cross the road.
You know, before we started this, I got a message from Doc, and he told me not to be breathing fire out my nose and different things, and I'm really trying to hold it in, but some of this stuff is so way out there that it's really hard. But I'll continue with this, and then it won't take but just a few more minutes. Every year we see the same politicians filing the same bills. This is colossal waste of time and energy for the legislature. If any of the bills passed, it would take a dramatic effort on the nation's best organization to have serious economical impact on state and local revenues. The Missouri Department of Conservation was formed by the citizens' vote in 1936 to take what was a failure in state agencies to manage fish and wildlife and forest resources, the Organization and Professional Conservation Commission. Before 1937, management was a mess. They had lost deer herds, wild turkeys was almost extinct. The forest and fisheries resources was in trouble. After that, the initial bill did 3 things that was important to conservation effort. It established a constitutional funding base that politicians could not appropriate. Something that was supposed to happen to Social Security, if you guys remember. It establishes a bipartisan citizen committee to oversee newly established conservation agency and is placing the funding at the state's constitution. We are reaping the benefits from this now. Foresighted organizers, several from Columbia, this was a change since it was provided additional funding, was established a 1/8 of a cent sales tax in 1976 that was voted in by the Missouri voters. They shouldn't be able to take that away. It was voted in by the people that pay it. Why is this important to our state economy? Because the MDC's budget, now listen to this, the Missouri Department of Conservation's budget represents 0.7% of the state's budget. 0.7%, very, very low amount. In addition to the conservation tax, the MDC receives 15% of its working dollars from federal tax reimbursements, which have been matched by the MDC funds. These are reimbursements from federal excise taxes we all pay when purchasing hunting and fishing license. And like I said, I don't mind buying them. I don't know anybody that really does mind buying them, They go to one of the most worthwhile things that you could ever spend your dollars on. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I know we need to get this stuff done in Maryland, but you people in Missouri, write your representatives and tell them to stop this stuff. We've got to get a handle on what these people write up as bills. The last thing we need is for the Conservation Department to send a check to somebody every time they hit a deer with their car. Thank you.
And I'm gonna add on to that. Like Vince, had a good point to it. He knows how he's gonna get his trucks fixed for free. He's just gonna have to go to Missouri and find a deer. Well,
that's nuts.
Everybody in Illinois and all the other border states, guess what? They hit a deer and they're close to Missouri. They're gonna throw that thing on the back of the car, gonna drive across the state line, throw it off the side of the road, and call the cops where they hit a deer in Missouri.
I've invited Mrs. Brown to be on the show. I've invited her to listen into the show. I've invited her into chat. She is the same lady that when we was at Jeff City talking about catfish regulations on Truman and Lake Ozarks, that was trying to tell everybody how important it was to take care of the white catfish there. There's never been white catfish there. If you don't know what you're talking about, please keep your mouth shut.
Unfortunately, we have a plethora of politicians who don't have any idea what they're talking about. That's and true. Refuse to keep their mouth shut.
That's so true. But anyhow, I wanted to bring this out. And if I get something on another state, if you guys in Illinois, Indiana, Mississippi, I don't care where you're from, if you got something like that, like this that we're talking about, if you'll get it to me, we'll talk about it, I promise you.
Okay. Before we go on any further, tonight's random giveaway is for somebody live in our chat. And we had up to like 35, 36 people. And I've got everybody's name written down. I've posted it on random.org. I'm going to share my screen right now. And you should see what I see right now. I got everybody's name on here. Well, your name ain't on there. My name ain't on there.
Where's mine at?
I'm in chat.
Well, you guys should be wearing your whisker wear apparel like me. See that? See that?
Ah, yeah, you're right.
So right now we have everybody in chat that I got on here. The super fans, I believe I've got you in here as well. I'm gonna hit randomize. Let's see, everybody in chat, give me a number between 1 and 5. The second one I see is what I'm gonna do. Second one I see is the number I'm going to randomize it. Jason Malone, I did not add you because you got a prize already this week.
Prize hog. Prize
1 and 5 people. 1 and 5. 1 and 5 people. Your screen is green.
Mine's not.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. The second number I see between 1 and 5.
Oh, you're in something else.
I'm doing a screen share. They should see my random.org screen. Dang, 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's 3. 3 was the second. 3 was the second number. We're doing it 3 times. I'm gonna click randomize 3 times. Whoever is in the top spot after the third time is gonna be the winner of either 2 T-shirts from Whisker Wear Apparel or 1 hoodie. They can decide. All right, here we go. Number 1, John Harden Superfan is who was at number 1. He doesn't win though. Sorry, John. Shannon Strokirch at number 2, and here we are for our number 3, Chris Dunaway. Chris Dunaway has won. So congratulations, Chris Dunaway. Get with myself or Rob Clodfelder if you're friends with him, and he'll get you set up, or we can get you in contact with him and we'll get you set up. So again, congratulations, Chris Dunaway. But again, we want to thank everybody that's coming into chat and watching the shows, and I want to apologize. I know I'm running behind, and I say that quite a bit, and I've been pretty slow at getting the podcast up and going, and believe it or not, that podcast is really blowing up. I mean, we're getting a lot of listens from the podcast. So
We
uh,
are.
I do apologize that it's taken me so long to get them up to date. I'm really trying to keep on top of it. Sometimes life happens though. You just gotta bear with me. I'll do the best I can.
You know, Chris, when I get people sending me messages telling me that they listen to them podcast on their way to work and home from work while they're at work, um, I never knew that it was so important until the last 30 days or so, and people telling me these things, and they want to hear it. They want to see it. Catfishing is so popular right now that people can't get their fill of it, and I hope in some little way that the three of us are making a difference for these people that can't get out and go, especially in the wintertime. And it makes us feel like that we're doing something the way they want to see it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I want to let everybody know that um, again, that we're really appreciating everything that you're doing by just being out here and joining us in the chat and talking with us and everything. Um, I want to touch on something a little bit, and it's you hear me say quite a bit, and it's about I guess another part of the mental aspect of uh, social media, catfishing, everything in general. Um, Let me just say it the way I think about it. There's bull crap in everything. Everything in life has a certain amount of bull crap, and how you deal with it, how you handle it, what you do to prevent it from being in your life is all pretty important, especially for a passion. I think it's real easy for a passion like catfishing to be taken away from you, and because of the way you let the stuff that happens, the bullcrap in the sport, affect you. Now, one of the things that can happen is you have people on Facebook who you're going to constantly see drama. You're going to constantly see bullcrap. You're going to constantly see negativity. You have to get rid of those people if you can't handle what you're seeing from them. If it bothers you to see it, you have to delete that person. You might think it's rude, or you really kind of like them, or kind of don't, or whatever. If it is bothering you, what they're saying, it will affect you to the point where you don't want to catfish, or you don't want to even be part of the social media part of it, or whatever. And that's all. To me, it's almost yourself having to, you know, create the world that you want to live in. And you have that power. You have the ability to think. Like myself, there's plenty of people on my friends list that I don't agree with what they say, and that's another thing that I want to go into just a little bit. Um, you don't have to, if you don't agree with somebody, you don't have to unfriend them. You don't have to hate that person. You don't have to belittle that person. Grown adults are allowed to disagree on subjects like mature grown adults and move on. Understand that you don't agree, and you can always talk to each other about it or whatever, and not have to uh, be mean or belittle another person or anything like that. But that all happens every day. There's people that I know that I hear, I get messages, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened from this person, and I pretty much tell them the same thing. If it's bothering you, you need to delete that. You need to delete that person from your friends list. You need to block that from your life. You need to be able to keep going and being positive with what you're doing, and not allow people to take your enjoyment away from you. Because like I said, that kind of stuff, it happens all the time. It really does. And like I said, it's up to you yourself, to control it. It's they're not going to stop doing it. You know that. So if it bothers you and you allow them to keep doing it, you're allowing them to take your passion away from you, and it's your fault. You have to figure out what is going to keep you passionate about the sport of catfishing, and you can use this in every aspect of life. I mean, it's
That's some the good words to live by.
yeah. So I just, I don't want anybody to get to the point where they just give up on catfishing because of the crap that goes on. Because crap goes on everywhere all the time. It's just dealing with it and figuring out your way to do that. So, please figure that way out. Do what you have to do. Don't ever lose the passion for the sport and be positive with it. That's all I have about it. But yeah, I mean, it's something that happens a lot right now.
Well, it really does. It really does. You know, um, and you guys help me out here because I won't be able to remember them all. But Justin and Tabitha have been on Good Fish again. Just, dude, you got to take me out and show me how you do that. That is amazing.
What's that?
Justin and Tabitha, they catching the crap out of them big old blues again. Justin Connors and Tabitha Linfield.
Yeah.
They laid them out. I mean, just laid them out.
Jason,
There's a lot of other people that caught some good fish this week.
Jason said that's why he deleted me. I don't think so, buddy. Yes, and there are some self-described hot babes that are actually truckers named Billy. There is that out there too, so be careful.
While we're on that, I seen some pictures that Charles Manning had put some people on, and he has been on some big fish too. You guys get a chance, you need to take a look at Charles and his guide service. I mean, he has put some people on some giants here the last month. Just boys, I'm telling you, you talking that Braves and Cubs stuff, you ain't never gonna get it. It just ain't gonna happen, fellas. I'm a Cardinals guy. But Brian Sanders and some of them guys, they've been putting some good fish in the boat. There's a lot of quality fish being caught. If you guys are to where that the water is not froze up and you can get out, there are great fish being caught all over the United States right now.
Yep. So I do want everybody. I think everybody should send. Greg Aaron paid for that advertisement. Stepping up, doing something like that.
Outstanding.
I do. I think that's outstanding. When he told me he was doing it, and I said, I'll help you. I wanted to get a advertisement that really grabbed people, and I hope that there does it.
I hope it does. Greg and Joe and them guys out there, like I said, they do a really good job. And I want to give a shout out to Greg. I had made a statement online here a while back that I was interested in at least one more GoPro camera. And I got a couple of messages, and he had told me that he had this GoPro that he had used once, maybe twice, and some of the stuff. He sent me a picture of all the stuff that went with it, and of course I wanted it. I won. I'm like a little kid, but this camera come in the box to me today. And just like he had told me, most of the stuff that was in this package wasn't even opened up. It's beautiful. It's exactly what I wanted, exactly what I expected. And thank you for your honesty and sending me what you promised me. It is so nice. And I can't wait to get in a boat and get some videos. It's going to give us an extra angle that we didn't have. And I'm thinking one more will seal the deal. So thanks again for what you done for me.
And a couple people pointed out, and I'm glad you guys did, because I wanted to say something about it and just had forgot so far. Congratulations, Aaron Wheatley, on your personal best. That's 78 pounds, I believe it was, on the Ohio River, people. That's an outstanding fish on the Ohio River. Outstanding fish. So congratulations.
Anywhere
really, anywhere, and if you ask me, anywhere in the country. So, but for the Ohio, it's exceptionally large fish. So
it's a great catch.
That is awesome, Aaron. Hopefully you stay out there and keep on them and keep sharing the pictures and Monsters on the Ohio next year. You got a beast like that somebody brings in and everybody gets to see it, and hopefully it'll be beautiful out there. You're already over 50 something boats, I believe, paid, which is I think the soonest you've ever been for the prior year. I definitely think it's going to be maxing out probably this year.
Well, there's another thing that we haven't mentioned tonight, and I know Chuck was talking about it last week, and I had a couple of messages back and forth the last couple of days with him. Jody Bevins. Jody appears to me to be doing extremely well. He's excited. He's ready to go fishing. Of course, he can't yet. He's got some time to put in. But Jody, from what I've got gathered of the last few conversations that I've had with him, is doing really good, and we're all glad that he's doing good. And continue with your progress, but just don't overdo it, Jody. It's hard to make that second comeback.
Sorry, John Nordyke. I was talking John Harden. I was telling him to hit live to get back to the live feed. Um, but yeah, I think we've about got it for the night. Again, thanks for everybody showing up. There's also a couple new advertisements if you guys haven't seen the Catfish Tech. That'll take you to the Facebook page where if you're looking for a fish finder or electronics, a trolling motor, anything along that lines, you go to that Facebook page there. Vince will get you taken care of. Probably the best prices you'll find around. And thanks for him for putting the advertisement up there. There's also the Potomac River Monster Cat trail, so that you can click that and go to their site and see their trail and their schedule and all that stuff. So thanks to all them guys and the continued support of Black Horse Custom Rods and Catfish Magazine. Hoosier Whiskers is up there. Fish that trail this year. You'll see me at them all. So yeah, thanks to all of them. And if you haven't done so already, click that help advertisement, help the Bay Catfish Advocate, fill that out. Yeah, just do that for us and for them, and let's stand together and help get that changed. So, if you got anything there for us, Chuck, to close out the night?
Well, I just want to talk about some of this stuff going on in social media. People get put on groups that I guess you don't know you're being added to. If you start seeing stuff you don't like, some people posting, dead fish, large dead fish, stuff like that. I know, if you're like me, you're going to comment on it. I don't like seeing that stuff going down my news feed. I will totally leave a group in a minute. If you don't know how to leave a group, I found out today because there was a couple groups I was trying to leave, and you just go up to the cover photo and click on the cover photo. There's a arrow on the bottom right, and it will tell you can leave the group and unfollow the group. You can click both. You can leave the group. Your name won't be on the group anymore, but you'll still be getting the stuff on the news feed. So you want to unfollow the group and you want to leave the group both if you leave these groups. A lot of these groups you get in, they'll say that they're for this and that they're going to do this for you. You think you're going to be getting all these education. You see a lot of good people signing up on them. They start letting everybody in. That all they're worried about is getting member numbers, and trying to get a lot of likes. They start making T-shirts, wanting to start selling T-shirts to everybody. They really aren't watching who's coming in the door. They're saying the guys that post these dead fish, they don't know any better. But when you say something and try to give a educational explanation why that they don't need to be posting the dead fish, they want to try to argue with you and tell you that that they're going to eat big dead fish. They're going to harvest and eat big fish. It don't matter what you say. And and if these administrators want to keep these guys around, and and they don't want to be educated and know the value of why we're trying to protect these fish, I'm not going to hang around these groups and watch it. So, I just thought I'd let y'all know if y'all have any trouble leaving any of these groups you don't like like what you see, and just message me, and I'll see what I can do about helping you get out of them.
That's
All
very
right.
nice.
That's about all I
Very
got.
nice.
All right, Lyle.
Well, I just want to remind everybody that the 21st of February will be the very first Twisted Cat Outdoor Tournament. It'll be at Columbia Bottoms in St. Louis. If you want to fish a good tournament, the fish are biting. They have been laying out big numbers of fish down there. You might not hear much about it because the tournament's coming up and everybody's not going to be talking about it, but they are catching fish in that area. I'm so aggravated that my key is still not fixed in my boat and I can't get down there. It's going to be a really, really good tournament. We got people from a lot of places coming in to fish this. $100 entry. Be there early, get signed up. You leave out in the order of entry. Launch will be at 7, so get there as quick as you can. Weigh in at 3. Come see us. We'd love to have you. As far as the stuff on our website, I just love what Greg has done. That is an outstanding thing that he's doing to help the catfish advocates out there. And if you guys get a chance, please jump on there. It only takes a minute to do this paperwork. It is something that you can do while you're eating a snack or getting a drink or taking a break. Just go ahead and sign up on that. Let them people know that you want to keep those fish out there. From my perspective, there's no other reason why I will be there. I would never go out there other than to visit friends or fish the Potomac River. I'm just saying, they lose that, they're probably going to lose me forever. Really, really a good place to fish, and they're starting to get recognition for big fish. Don't take it away from them, folks. Please keep in mind all the regulations and stuff I visited with you guys about. You Missouri people, you really need to contact your state representatives to tell them to knock this crap off. And it's just crazy. I just can't believe that they would want you to pay for somebody's car every time a deer gets hit. But it is what it is. These are the people that you guys are electing in there. Please consider these folks when you're re-electing your state officials. That's it for me, Chris.
All right. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Hopefully it was a good episode for you and had a good time. Thanks again for all the advertisers that have stepped up and bought spots with us and helping us out and helping themselves out there. We do have more spots available there. If you're interested, you see the prices there. Also, the congrats again to Chris Dunaway. I don't know if he ever got with Rob or not. If he ended up not realizing that he won or anything, then we'll probably just pick somebody else or something next week. And like I said before, it's surprise week. So basically, do everything you can. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Maybe subscribe to the podcast over at Podbean or iTunes. Comment on a video or something on YouTube. I mean, I don't know how we're going to pick our winners, but it could be completely random. So we're definitely wanting people to be completely a part of Catfish Weekly all around. Everything that we have going on. We're going to continue to grow, hopefully, and add new things. Maybe a smartphone app or something like that down the future, down the pipeline. And
I can't use the phone I got. You start adding stuff like that on, I'll really be in trouble.
But definitely click those links that are on our site. Help. Just them being there doesn't do anything if you guys aren't clicking them and doing what they're there to do, and which is bring in other people to see what that's all about. Clicking on the CARC thing, signing up for Monsters on the Ohio. They have back-end stats and stuff that will tell them how many visits they're getting from us. So if the value isn't there, then we're not going to be doing very well with our advertisers, and we want to make sure we're doing them good. So I believe I don't think there's any tournaments that I know of going on this week. The next one I know of is Bass Pro at Paducah the following Saturday, I believe. So I might talk about that a little bit. and I will touch on just a little bit. I am glad to hear that Jody Beaven is doing well and had a good successful surgery and came out feeling okay and is on the recovery right now. So congrats to him doing well. And I'm sure he'd thank everybody that sent him messages and prayers and all that. So thanks to everybody that does that stuff. If I do go out fishing and I see you, all I know is you better not be in my spot. Just stay out of it.